G'day, hi and welcome. I don't know if you can see me very well, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to be a talking video anyway. And I apologize that I have the heat on. It's not blistering cold, but it's kind of damp, so I'll try to get it down as low as I can. Actually, the vehicle warm up a little bit here, believe it or not. So it's like, well, Reg, why do we have to listen to this roaring heater going on in this vehicle? Where the heck are you off to at this hour of the night, 10 to 8 at night? Where would a man be going at 10 to 8 at night? Like, what kind of man leaves the house at 10 to 8 at night while it's raining out, it's cold, chances of freezing rain and all that stuff? Has to turn the windshield wipers on. Get that back. And where would this man be going at this hour of the night? You'd have to turn on the high beams. You know what I mean? Well, I'll tell you where this man is going. It has been brought to my attention. It's been roughly about, well, let's see, let me think about this. About 8 months or so since I've last played live. Yeah. When was it? October? Maybe even early November. I think it might have been October, to be honest with you. And, yeah. So we are now May 1st at the making of this video. And there's still snow on the ground. It's a lot of places around my area anyway. And there's a lot of, it's still cold. Like, it feels like we're a month behind on everything, right? And in 8 months, I've been riding around pretty much up until about a week or two ago. I've been riding around on my winter tires. Now, anybody who follows my other channel, you know that my winter tires, one of the front tires had a big bubble in it. Amazing it didn't blow out. One of the back rear tires kept going empty, like, all the time. And, it was like, yeah, it was amazing I didn't get a blowout. And all four tires were extremely bald for winter tires. But when I bought this CRV, I got it for a whopping $400, right? And out of that $400, I got the CRV, obviously, and I got the set of summer tires that are probably about half done. That's what's on here now. And the winter tires that my cousin was driving on until, you know, the whole time he never bothered putting on the summer tires. He was just like, I just didn't get around to it. I didn't give a shit. So I'm like, okay. So those tires, he was running them bald, you know. And that's what people around here do, is they run everything. We run everything into the ground, you know. We run the wheels off of everything. You know, everybody's broke, right? So the Highway 105 being a highway of doom, you know, even last week I was going to go out to the jam night, but with all the floods and everything like that, the high water, where I'm going, there's like in Wakefield, Quebec, there's a lot of clay there, and I didn't want to get it, you know, a mudslide take out the highway and then be stuck sleeping in the CRV because it was kind of colder last week than what it was this week. But this week I'm really quit. I'll sleep in the damn vehicle if I have to. If I have to go around the long way to get home, I will. But there's only a couple of, like, the highway's long and everything like that, but if the major highway 105 is cut off, you're talking like a lot of people that can't get home, you know, and it doesn't take much. So I thought, okay, I'd wait. I waited till this week. So today there was ice on the ground, there was freezing rain and stuff like that. Now it's just turned into just regular rain. It's hovering close to the zero mark, so it could go either way. It's not snowing, whatever. So I was like, okay, well, even though I now have summer tires on, the summer tires they have better tread on them than probably what my winter tires did anyway. But it's like, okay, as long as I'm not driving like a fool, this weather shouldn't hold me up too much. Even if there's a little bit of precipitation, whatever, it should be okay. Even if there's a little bit of black ice, it should be okay. You know, not too worried about it. So, yeah, so I'm heading out to the jam night for the first time in about 8 months. Again, I don't know how much memory I got left on my... Oh, hang on. Wait for it. I'm by my friend's place. I don't know how much memory I got left on the phone. So if it just cuts off, it just cuts off. I probably won't even notice because I got to concentrate on driving. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to tonight. I've got a I should do really well tonight because of the 3 songs have been pretty much. I'm one of those strange musicians that when I pick 3 songs that I want to play live, I just practice them and practice them, even when I'm sick of them. Until I play them live, I don't stop playing. I don't know why I do this. But the good news is that I usually do really well. You know what I mean? It's like you know the song really, really well. Like there's no excuses. If you don't do it well, it's you. You can't blame it on anything. You know what I mean? You could have the worst mic on stage, the worst sound man, everything like that. But you know the song so well that even if the sound's not great, you should still sound good because you're singing in tune. You got, you know, your timing is good, everything like that. The tempo's good. It should be no problem, right? So tonight I got 3 songs picked out, but like always, I always have backup songs in case the night takes a different turn. But I've picked something interesting tonight that's, I think, really moldable. I picked Dolphins Cry from Live. Obviously, it's all going to be done on the acoustic. Use Somebody or Somebody by Kings of Leon. And to really liven it up, I got Jeremy by Pearl Jam, which I think I do really well. I know the camera doesn't pick up the highs and lows. You always sound worse on camera, you know what I mean? For some reason. But if you do sound good, or you hear somebody, even if it's not me, if it's somebody else or yourself or whatever, and you sound good on a cheap camera, that means you sound stellar live. You sound amazing. And the crowd will let you know. Now, sometimes the crowd's just not into that kind of music. Now, the host tonight, this guy, I've seen him before as a host last year. He was the Das Boot guy. He was kind of a bizarre kind of individual. Was doing folk music. He was playing and singing with the violin at the same time. A lot more mellow. Okay, I'm the lively guy. That's usually my only problem. Is like I usually go later because what happens is I'm the lively guy, right? So it's like if everybody else is mellow and I'm the lively guy, it kind of throws things off a little bit. So if you don't have a variety of something to pick up just a little bit so that I can go a little bit more, because then it's too much of a contrast and people, they just can't change genres that fast, you know. They're snuggled into a nice calm folk night or whatever, and then you're pulling out power rock right after. Sometimes they want it, don't get me wrong, but other times it's just like, well, you know, it's a little much, you know, for the follow-up, you know what I mean? But I think these songs, they're just right on the line that you can go either way with them. If I can get like I said, the Dolphins Cry is pretty lively, but it's still mellow enough that that you can build your way up to the Pearl Jam song, and by the third one, yeah, people are into it, right? The Use Somebody is a pretty song. It's kind of hyper. Actually, it kind of is a very busy song. Not as in technically busy, but noisy busy. Like there's a lot of big chords in there. There's a lot of solid strumming. It's pretty much 16th notes the whole way through. It's not speed metal by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely something that is going to get a higher tempo rate, right? And I don't know who's going to be there tonight, but this guy, the interesting about him is that I can't think of his name right now, but he usually shows up with a hockey bag full of instruments. It's like the mystery bag. You don't know what this guy is going to pull out of this thing. He'll do his thing with his violin, he might do whatever. Somebody will go on stage, and all of a sudden he'll come up behind them, reach into the hockey bag, and pull out a trumpet or something. Bagpipes, harmonicas, a triangle. It could be anything. You just don't know what this guy's going to pull out, which makes it really, really exciting and interesting because it's like everything's a surprise. You're not expecting it. And that's what I love about jam nights. And guys, I need this. I've been stuck in the house for over 8 months with the winter being so long. Cash being so tight. Tonight, the insurance money I got back from my motorcycle, because I had to cancel my motorcycle insurance because the bike's broke. It's too cold to really be working on it yet. If I'm going to tear things apart, I don't want it, miserable weather to work in. It's got to work out in the yard on it. So it's like, I want to wait till there's a couple of days that I know I can get away with it. You know what I mean? Nicer weather. So it was going to be nearly $1,600 for the sport bike insurance. So obviously that one, with my income, that wasn't going to happen, right? So it's like, okay, so I went and I canceled the plate and just put it into parking. But in Quebec here, we have 2 insurances. So I had to cancel the motorcycle insurance with the insurance company, which was like $280 or something for the year. Still kind of high because it's a sport bike, but not unbelievably high. You know what I mean? I think the CRV was a little bit cheaper. But the thing is that it. What I got out of it was that I still had a month or 2 left. But the thing is, if I didn't cancel it, everything always automatically renews. So that even if you go to cancel it like a day late, you owe like a month. So it's still going to cost you something if you don't cut it off at the wire, right? So I cut it off a little early, and I got a whole $38 back, which a typical trip is going to cost me about $40 there and back. Is usually a night. I try to do it under 30 if I can. It won't be like last year. I won't be able to go every weekend, but usually I got fired up so much just from one night that I can keep that high for a month before I have to go again. So at least if I could jam once a month, but I'd love to jam once a week at least. Not jam, but the open stage, because I'm going to have to move on from this venue. But the next venue is in Ottawa, or the venues are in Ottawa, and they're just a little bit further. The gas would be a lot more, and that round trip would be, it gets to the point where I can't afford to do it, right? This is about as much as I can afford, and there's nothing closer. I live in the middle of the boonies, right? But the goal is to run into other musicians. So the more frequent you do this, it's only a matter of time before you either end up in a band or collaborating with people, right? And I want to do that this year for 2019. I really want to get the rock and roll stuff going. It's really hard living in the middle of nowhere. It's easy when you're in the city because, like, if you're in the city and you want to be in the band and playing live and you're not, it's you. You know what I mean? You could walk to half your gigs, with a guitar on your back, and half the places have their own PA. Heck, half the places you just have to show up and even have the house guitar there, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you really want to, put effort into it. But everything takes time or money, My other buddies, they're not quite back jamming yet. Again, it's been a long winter. His garage isn't heated. And right now what we're dealing with, it's not that it's cold, it's so damp. And that's hard on the equipment. That's hard on the equipment. This guitar, I bought it with the concept of, jam night guitar in mind. Sure, but the thing is that even with the jam night concept in mind, I don't want to abuse my instruments to the point where they're completely unusable. I've talked about it last year. I know these really long videos, not everybody's interested in it. What I think is going to happen is whenever this channel kind of takes off, people are going to go over kind of like the archiving of it and say, well, this was his, early jams and stuff like that. And now he's getting to the good stuff and it's really cool. But in his early jams, he was doing this, this, and this. And then he had all these big talking discussions and whatever, daydreaming stuff, whatever. But it's not daydreaming. I'm on my way there, and I'll make a video on the way back if I have enough memory. Think about my Samsung cell phone. I could make like 6 hours of videos. This, I barely get away with 3, and I've already got 2 videos on there over an hour long each. So, again, will I get this one? It's typically a 45-minute drive there, and back, or to there, and then 45 minutes back. But the thing that gets me is that tonight I'm going to be driving a little bit slower. I always drive 10 under the limit with this thing anyway. It's not a rocket ship. And looks like the fire department's going to get a buzzing. Hang on, wait for it. And 3, 2, 1. There we go. There, I hope they heard me. Always say hi to those guys. Yeah. Yeah, always thank your firefighters, you know what I mean? And right now in Quebec, in Ontario, thank the military for their disaster relief efforts and all the volunteers and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of cleanup in the next couple of weeks, that's for sure. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying, yeah. So it might take me a little longer to get there tonight. Again, when the roads are bad, I'm not trying to kill myself. You know what I mean? I have nothing to prove. This isn't a rocket ship. you know, and I get better mileage, 10 clicks under, right? So everybody behind me, the truckers behind me don't like it, but, you know, they're driving too fast. But anyway, so what did I do all winter with the music stuff? You know, I mean, all that time off, did I practice a whole bunch of new songs, a whole new sets, something like that? Did I call a whole bunch of bars and see if I could book some gigs? Yes and no. I didn't contact any bars because, again, it's not like I could have, you know, with the bad roads, I wasn't going to risk, okay, yeah, well, you can play next Monday or next Friday or Saturday, and, you know, this type of snow and the weather we got. You know, I didn't want to commit this vehicle with the bad winter and the bad potholes on the roads to, you know, to have to show up in the worst road conditions possible. And, you know, so it's like, it wasn't worth it. And there's usually not a lot going on in the winter anyway. Like there's some places, yeah, that are really established places. They have live acts all the time. Again, like this Cafe 1870, I'm going to have to move on from there. I know that. I love the place, but it's so hard to get a gig there in the sense of there's like a rotation of locals that play there all the time. What they usually end up doing is being, you know, like jam night hosts and stuff like that. And that's probably going to be my ticket in, is I'll have to host at some point. The problem is that place is booked up 6 months in advance. You know, that's the problem when you get a place that does play live. Now there, you could sell tickets or play for the door. Myself, I would just play for the door or for the hat. I've done that before. The problem when you play for the hat is it's hit and miss. Some nights you'll make a couple of $100. Some nights you'll make like $20. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's not whether you're good or not. Just some people, some nights they just want their money for the beer. You know what I mean? Other nights it's, you know, a little bit different where it's like, okay, well, you know, I just got, you know, it was a pay week. A pay week, if you're playing on a pay week, usually the donations are good. You're paying on the off week, donations not so good. The very last pay of the month and the welfare checks, when they come in, you get a lot, everybody donates, right? Everybody donates when they're happy, right? But other times you don't get as much. So the safe bet is always play for the door. If you've got an established, how much do you charge at the door? $2, $5, $10, $30. You tell me, right? There's some people that charge like way too much, but there's people that can get away with it, people that can't. I would be charging like $2, and then just hope more than 50 people show up. Again, goal is more, you know, until you get an idea of what it's like, you know, what kind of audience you're going to get. In town, it's a little different. The problem with town is where the jam nights kill you is that it's free entertainment all the time, right, for the bar. So do a jam night on a Saturday night, yeah, you don't have to hire a band, you know what I mean? But that fizzles out too a lot of times too, because there's a catch-22 to everything, right? What happens is, yes, they can get, if they have somebody working at the bar that can run the equipment as a host, no problem. But if they want to keep the host, they have to pay the host. You know what I mean? And the thing is some guys are going to say, look, here. Some guys, like, or girl, whatever, would say, okay, well, I'll take $50 to be a jam night host, you know, and then, you know, instead of playing over there where they might pay me $300 or $400 to be the main entertainer, right? So you got to look at it like that. So bartenders are weird, or bar owners are weird. There's some that, you know, like they love the music and whatever, but they have no business sense, and they go out of business paying the bands too much, right? There's others, they don't pay the bands anything, but they always get bands in, and they're a little more smart. They're saying, well, look, you draw your own crowd, you bring in your money. You bring in your money. You know what I mean? Basically, you can play. We're not going to pay you, but you can make the door, you can sell tickets. It's your show. And that's what's the deal is here. And I understand that, too. Like, I don't, you know, I understand they got to make money, too, right? They make money, you make money. That's the way it works. And then you got the other ones, bands are too expensive, whatever. We have a dart night, that'll be enough, right? Now, some places, if they have dart nights every night and they've got the clientele, they can pull it off. But every place that only has a dart night closes. Why? Because there's only a handful of people that play darts, and they're usually older people. The older people don't drink a lot. Younger people don't drink as much. College students drink like fish. Where do you think all their tuition money's going? I know, I went to college. It hasn't changed. What do you think all that student loan debt is about? It's all the bars and pubs that they went to. You know what I mean? No, I'm kidding. But you get what I'm getting at is that there's a demographic you have to bring in to get money. If you can bring in women, you will bring in money. If you can't bring in women, because if you have nice women in a bar, okay, guys spend money. Big guy here go by. Look at this. That guy, on a night like tonight when there's freaking freezing rain, this guy, what the hell is he thinking? Yeah, dude, you're gonna end up off the road. Truckers. I love them, but slow it down, guys. Slow it down. I mean, you'll get all that free energy coming down the hill anyway. I get that, but yeah, slow it down in these kind of weather. You're just gonna kill somebody yourselves. But anyway, the point I'm getting at is that you gotta shop around. It's a lot of work. You have to treat it like a business in order to get to it. The problem is when you don't have even the business to invest to get yourself to where you need to be, it becomes a gamble, right? So what I'm talking about is like, for me to drive to these jam nights, okay, I do them because they're close. But I know that I'm going to have to, my next place I want to go to is Baseline Station. And a lot of times, call a place, okay, that you want to go, like, where live music is, look for live acts in your hometown or whatever. And when you look for the live acts, here's what you do. Mark down their phone numbers, give them a call, ask them, hey, do you guys hire bands? Call them during the day when they're not busy, you know what I mean? Okay, they just opened up like an hour ago, there's 3 people sitting there. They could sit and chat to you for more than 5 minutes, right? Don't call them at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I mean, you'd be lucky if they answer the phone. But, yeah, you do that. And then what you do is you say, okay, well, I'll come by and I'll talk to you face to face. Or who should I talk to? 9 times out of 10, the person you talk to on the phone is not the person that does the booking. But when you talk to the person that does the booking, okay, here's how you approach it. Is number one, always kill them with kindness, put your best foot forward. It's a job interview. It's the same thing. But have examples that you can point to for your music. Because a lot of things that keep you from getting a gig, and this is a lot of reason why jam nights exist, is the easiest way to recruit musicians is to get a taste sample of what they're about first, so you don't end up with a really horrible, scare the customers away type of band. Sometimes I'm that guy. Some places, trust me, they're like, if you don't play country, we don't want you. And we're not talking country rock, we're talking country. You're not playing Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard stuff. No offense, but there's no business for you here. And again, why waste your time with that, right? There's nothing personal to be taken here. You're just not going to make any money doing that. And if you go, you're going to hurt the establishment. So you'll never work there again anyway. And if you lie to them, you don't know who this guy's friends with. It's weird because I only learned this by hanging out with bar owners and stuff like that years ago. We used to, the band was off the stage at 2 in the morning or whatever. We'd go get paid. The bar was closed. Everybody was cleared out, but the band still had to take the equipment out. So we'd wait till all the after rush, and end up, of course, partying with the waitresses and all that till about 3 or 4 in the morning, right? And you sit there and you talk to the owner. The owner would be like, yeah, we really like you guys and stuff like that. And then another owner from another pub or bar would show up. And they're like, oh yeah, you got a good guy tonight? Oh yeah. Oh, the guys we had to recall, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they sucked so bad, blah, blah, blah. So if those guys walk into that guy's bar, they ain't getting the job. You know what I mean? They're not going to get the job. And again, there's some people too, they just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or they just want to, they're business owners. They'll be like, yeah, oh yeah, no, don't worry, we love you. As soon as we got an opening, it's there. Don't hold your breath on it, and don't take it personal if they never call. Move on. Give it a little bit of time. find out what their rotation is for the music. Okay, let's say they got 12 bands that they cycle through a 16-week thing, where there's some bands, they play a couple of times. Okay, well, once you get that, say, okay, well, whenever your next cycle is, keep me in mind, here's my number. And it might take you a year to get a gig in a place, right? So you're not going to make a living off of that. So that means you can't hold out for that place. And I know so many bands, and I've been in bands that were like this, where, no, our first place we're going to play is this, top-notch place that if we go there, we got it made. We're not going to waste our time with all these other bars and stuff like that, because if we go to this one place, it'll make everything suddenly becomes magic, and then you're on top of the world. It doesn't work like that. I wish it did, but it doesn't. But the thing is you never get into that place without recommendations. So, for example, for me, my goal is to play the Heart and Crown. If I could ever get to play Mother McGinty's, that's going to be a really good night. Not only crowd-wise, but income-wise. I mean, I know some of those bands get $3,600 a night if they're from out of town, and I haven't heard of anybody getting paid less than $600 or $800. An average probably about $1,800 a night if it's on a weekend. A lot of times it's like $1,800 for the weekend and that type of thing. So $600. But name me a job where you're making $600 a night. The average person isn't going to get that. Now, you might get a gig like that once every 2 years, but if you're doing that stuff all the time, after a while, you start to set up a circuit so that you can only have to play one show a month, and you can take the winter off. All the professional musicians take the winter off around here. They don't scrounge. They get all their playing in during the summer, whatever. Greg, the host, he teaches guitar lessons and stuff like that in the winter. He doesn't bother. He's again the roads, all that. I'm up in Canada, right? So people in the States, gig all year round. You guys got no excuse. You're not living the life of metalheads. Yeah, be damned. You be damned. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that said, you can wear many hats. My goal, but you know what would work out well for me if I had one or two bands, would matter, that played 4 nights a week again. But locally, I don't want to tour around the world. Believe it or not, I don't want to tour around the world. Yeah, I'd love to play big stadiums, but if I could play the Blues Fest here, trust me, there's not going to be too many stages bigger than that around the world. Even the small stages are huge. You know what I mean? Like it's a party, right? It's like, I think it's in the top 10 largest music festivals in the world. Is the Ottawa Blues Fest, which they got to change it from Blues Fest, because there is blues acts there, and that's what it started as. But now it's like 90% of the bands are top 40 rock, metal, whatever. But you get everything. You get bluegrass. You get from Johnny Cash to Primus. You know what I mean? Although Johnny Cash is not alive anymore, but you get like Steve Earle Jones. You'll get George Thorogood. He used to play every year. Now we had Kiss there, Iron Maiden there. You had Lady Gaga there. You had, you know what I mean? It's all over the map. I don't think Taylor Swift or like, what's the other one there? What do you call it? Katy Perry or like that played there. But you never know. They could. You know what I mean? But you had some heavy metal bands there. I saw Live there. Saw Styx there. Like it's a really kick-ass thing. And then while that was going on, Buddy Guy was playing on the other stage. There was like 6 stages there, 4 to 6 stages depending on the year. And and then the further back you go, the stages get smaller. But the two main stages, the main stage is all the big acts. Rap bands. Just everything. It's just a freaking money fest. You know what I mean? So to me, that would be a goal, to be an opening act for the opening act. Tell you the truth, daytime concerts versus nighttime concerts. Outdoor playing in the evening is awesome during the light. I saw Soundgarden before, it was one of their last times they were playing live. Not the last place they played live, but one of their last tours. And they came on a little early, but they were like up there for 3 hours. It was awesome. So they started in the evening. So it wasn't in the broiling sun. But it was And then, I like the evening concerts because you get the theatrics and the show of the lights and all that. But I also love what you call it, you see the crowd, you know what I mean? And, all the crowd surfing and all that fun stuff. All that mayhem. I like that kind of rock and roll metal mayhem type stuff. It's always fun. And it's fun to be a part of that, too. So that's my goal for this year is to get into a band that wants to work. Jam, my friend, I love him dearly. I've known him since high school, probably even elementary, if you come to think of it. The problem with that band is I love these guys, don't get me wrong. They're good enough to get out there and play. The problem is they want perfection before they go out and play. And their asking price is a little on the high side. So I'm like, okay, well, 4 people, 5 people getting $300 a night. It's not great money, but it'll cover the gas there and back, a little extra money in the pocket. That's reasonable. You'll get a lot of places in that range, right? No, not enough. Got to be 600 to 1,000. That's very hard to do. That's very hard to do. That's a different league of musician, and it takes you a long time to get yourself into that. Sometimes you get lucky. I mean, we used to get places in my old band years ago, back in the 90s. We'd get paid $600 a night for a 4-piece band, $150 a night each. That was good. Good times, But the average was $175 for the night for the entire band. You know what I mean? That was probably the average. So we weren't really into it to get rich. You know what I mean? But it was close. I mean, the gas money was maybe $5 a gas because it was all in the city, right? But if you have to travel like from one end of the city to the other, that's one thing. But if you have to travel like what I'm doing right now, then the one-man band thing makes a lot of sense. You can get paid $60 to $100 a night, still cover your gas, and still make maybe a $20 profit. You know what I mean? If you get paid $100, you make about a $60 profit. You know what I mean? If you get paid more than that, yeah, you work 3 gigs in the month, you can take the rest of the month off. If you unless you have really high expenses. But it's easy to make $1,000 a night as a single one-man band. It's just where what gets you is the money to travel. I mean, gas isn't 45 cents a liter anymore. You know what I mean? Other things like again, the economy isn't as good as it used to be. So it's things have changed, and a lot of people don't go out anymore. They just don't go out anymore. Everybody's stuck inside watching Netflix and stuff like that. I mean, no fault to that, but it'd be nice to see you out in the crowd too. You'll enjoy it more than your next Netflix. You can watch Netflix anytime. Make some PC time for some live music in your life. You'll be better for it. Just sit there, take it in, go socialize, see what it's like to have real people in front of you. Get rid of that antisocial behavior. Go get inspired by some real music. You know what I mean? That's what I want people to do. But anyway, that's just me being me. The other thing I would say is that goals-wise is, and I'm gonna try to be more strategic. I love going to this place, and I'd love to go. I'm just passing a bar here, but it doesn't have its own PA in there. Like I say, there's one of those bars. It's a lot closer. The problem there is, again, you're stuck with Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson stuff, which again, great stuff, but you can't play anything heavier than that. And I'm a rock guy, right? New stuff doesn't really fly. This place, I think, they can get. They don't. I don't think they get too many power bands in there, but they. That guy Marky will probably be there tonight. I would be surprised if he wasn't. Yeah, they're usually pretty lively, even if they're like a different genre. Like Claire, I'm sure she'll probably. I hope she's there because I haven't seen her in a while. And I kind of miss listening to Claire. The Voodoo Woman. She's a damn good musician. There's no doubt about that. It's too bad she's too shy to let me show you the videos of her playing, and because she does a lot of originals and stuff like that. That's one thing I love about this place is they allow you to play originals. Whatever you want. You want to go up and tell jokes, tell jokes. As long as you're not doing anything too obscene, they really don't care what you're doing. It's not a talent show. It's not really even a jam night. If you want, actually, it's more of an open stage than a jam night. Is a proper term for it. I do like jamming with people. But it's really hard to get a jam going sometimes until, like it's usually like the same 5 guys that have been jamming together for the past 25 years that get up and jam. Everybody else has got their, okay, here's what I'm going to play and whatever. And again, when you only get 15 minutes to play, I understand that. That's why I do what I do. So, but I'm always hoping that somebody pulls me up right after so I can get more time on stage, and who knows what'll come out. It happened a couple of times already. And it just, sometimes it just works out like that. You know what I mean? You put out the call, hey, who wants to come up on stage and make some noise with me? I don't really have anything planned. It's just, or the night just turns into something else. Like, okay, guys, I had something planned, but I can't do that. There's electric guitars on the stage, and there's drums here. I need a bass player, I need a drummer, and maybe another guitar player if they want. We're going to do some screaming, yelling, 3/4 rock stuff. Rock your faces off and have fun with it, right? That stuff is always fun. That stuff is always fun. It never gets old. And it's always new. So I do like those loose jams where it's just, you don't know what to expect. But on the other hand, too, it's nice to do something structured as well. Because when you can really ace it and nail it, and you show your abilities a lot better when it's structured. So what I mean. There's no guesswork in it. It is impressive when you pull off a loose jam and it comes out really well, but it's usually never going to be very technical. You know what I mean? It'll be bluesy. You'll do some cool riffs on it when it's in 2 chords, A and E. You know what I mean? Or AEG or whatever. 3-chord blues. You know what I mean? Or 3-bar blues. You know what I mean? It'll be something like that. Sure. Nothing wrong with that. But the next jam session, guys coming up behind you are going to do the exact same formula in a different key, but it's the same thing. So now, you got the same 3 songs over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So that's why an open mic versus a jam night, there's vines and vices to both of them. It's nice if you can get a little bit of both in one night. You know what I mean? But also, too, if you really want to showcase yourself with the open mic, what you do is you do 2 things. Number one, what I'm doing is hunting for songs that are just going to blow people away. And I know every venue is different. A song that goes over extremely well in one place may not necessarily go over that well in another, even if you play it perfectly. Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. Some places I got the audience yelling, "Have my babies!" at the end of it, and in other people I've got, it was a little on the heavy side, don't you think? You know what I mean? You're going to get all over the map. You can't win. You can't win that way. Just take it, don't take it personally because, again, you're always going to get them. The majority of people, if you play well, they'll enjoy it, they'll clap. You have to be pretty bad to get booed off stage. Intergalactic Space hit me, Daryl, whatever his name. Hopefully he's there tonight because I like when he goes there because he's actually like, okay, he's not very good because he's got, mental problems. He was in an accident. He's a little slow or whatever. And he's basically like a really burnt out hippie. I'm not saying that to be insulting. No, like this guy, yeah, he's 1965 tie-dye hippie, long, gray hair, completely, he's a hippie, right? This guy's like on LSD and marijuana all the time. This is that guy. He gets up there, but he does his thing, and I love him for it because even if he's not that good, that doesn't matter. He's having the time of his life, and after a while, you start to, after the shock value of him goes away, you start getting into his jive. It's like after a while, you're like, I can't believe it, but I'm actually enjoying this. It's like it just puts a smile on your face. It's like it's so bad it's good. And again, I'm not trashing them by any stretch of the imagination. But what I'm saying is that you get somebody like him up there. If you're right after him, you could take the night up or down tempo-wise if you want because he made a lot of noise, and now either the crowd's ready for something noisier and more punch to it, or they're ready for something more mellow. Whatever. You'll always get that. What usually gets people is when you get somebody really lively. That's why I usually go later in the evening because I'm usually pretty lively. Doesn't mean I'll be the liveliest guy there by any stretch of the imagination. But usually, with this place, you know, it's like, okay, it matters where I go. Because if I'm going to be really lively and everybody after me is going to be singing really mellow, sad songs or ballads, you know, like, it's really going to, it'll affect the night. And it affects those people too, because the way I look at it is, here's what happens is, okay, you got a woman that's going to do, you know, Celine Dion or something like that, really mellow, and I've just done freaking Freebird, you know what I mean? You know, hyped everybody up. Well, what happens is those people, they don't enjoy their night because now it's like, oh, well, how do you follow that lively act? I've talked about it before. Chris Isaac, remember that? I wanna fall in love. That guy? Great song, yeah, beautiful model in there and everything like that. And it was a good tune. I think it was called Wicked Obsession. I think it was called, what it was called. Wicked Obsession. Right? And he was playing at some music awards. He played, and then Metallica got on right after him. And it totally emasculated, but he loved it. He's like, oh, he says the crowd was just, you know, so into it, all that power, the drive. And I mean, talking, you know, heavy metal, right? So obviously it's really gonna, you know, they did, I think, Fuel. I love, one of my favorite Metallica songs is Fuel. Like for just adrenaline, you know what I mean? Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that I desire. You know, right after, you know, I wanna fall in love. You know what I mean? Like it's contrast, right? And or if you have to follow that up, then you feel really neutered, right? And it's like, oh, who gives a shit about the guy after? But it's consideration. You know what I mean? It's consideration. So that's why, like, at some jam nights, it's like, I'm like the lightest guy there. The other guy after me is coming up. He's playing Yngwie Malmsteen. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like the quiet guy tonight. Would you play? You know, whatever. Wow, that was slippy, whatever that was. Yeah, so it's like, you get that, right? So I consider that just, you know, good etiquette. Because also, too, it fits more with the theme, because also, too, if you're a little more lively, a little later on the night, people are usually a lot more loose and vibrant because they've had a little bit more liquid happiness, right? And once they have that, they tend to enjoy the more rowdy stuff a little bit later anyway. So, yeah. Yeah, so there's that, you know. But yeah, my goals for this year, I know the video's going on a bit long now. Almost there. My goals for this year is to really, you know, put a lot of effort into getting on stage as much as possible. I want to make enough money on it to at least not just keep it going, but to invest forward with it. You got to think like Taylor Swift. I mean, that woman, she's a musician. Yes, I know she just put out a new song at the making of this video. May 1st, I think a couple of days ago she put out, I haven't heard it yet. I don't really follow her, so whatever. But you hear about her in the news all the time, her new thing that she's doing. And it's always like some sort of business decision. And it's like, this girl is really, really good at marketing. She knows how to market herself. Even if it's not your style, you can learn from that. For, you know, a lot of bands that fall apart, it's you know, like I say, you don't have to play for free. But you do have to get experience somewhere. Jam nights are great for experience. But after a while, you need to get playing, or you never will. You know what I mean? And this is the problem I have with the other guys that I jam with, is that they, you know, like, it's, you know, I want to be perfect when we go out on stage. That's never going to happen like that. You can't play a perfect song and a perfect show and whatever. That can happen. But very rarely, what I call it is, you know, all notes accounted for. You know what I mean? Will all notes be accounted for? What does that mean? It means, did you miss anything? Did you miss a note? Did you miss, dude, oh man. Low beams, we're on the dangerous stretch of the highway here with the twisty stuff. There's a cliff there and a river down there. What the hell's the matter with you, man? Some people's kids, I swear to God. Blind me like that. But anyway, yeah, so, what was I saying before? I was rudely blinded by that oncoming. It's just enough of a glare tonight there with the wet road and on this twisty stuff, right? yeah, so what I was saying is like, you can see yourself sitting in a garage forever and a day with some people, you know what I mean? And that's fine if that's all you want to do. There's some people, like, they really don't want to play live. Like, it's not that they're scared to, they're just not interested. I have no problem with that, but if you're, you know, jamming with people with the, okay, well, and me and my other friend had a discussion about that. He goes, yeah, I used to jam with them too, but that's all they do is jam, you know? Like, they might play a gig once every 4 years, you know what I mean? Like, they're really, really, you know, it's like, what are they waiting for, you know, and stuff like that. So it's too bad because these guys are really good. Like, no, dude, people need to hear you, you know, you know, you're good enough. Let's throw a bunch of songs together. Okay, we don't have to play all the time. What I would recommend, you have the other side of the coin too, where you get these guys, okay, the first jam night, you jam for 8 hours straight, you put, hey dude, we have enough for a set, let's go out and play. And then they go with like the songs that were just cheesy easies, as we call them, and they go out and they play, they start booking gigs, and next thing you know, 20 years later, they're still playing the same set, and they're so sick of it, they're not enjoying it anymore. You don't want to be that either. So you have to get a balance where you can play, whether you get paid or not, get out there, play, enjoy yourself, come home, say, okay, well, what songs did really well? Well, this song will keep it, this song will keep it. Let's add this in the next jam session. You know, drop 3, add 3, you know what I mean? That works pretty good too. We started doing that in a couple of bands I was in, and it worked well. It's like, okay, let's always change it up. There's some songs that become staples, and like, you know, you can play it a million times live and you love it each time, like War Pigs. I can play that. I don't think I could ever get sick of that, because you're not even listening to the song half the time. You're listening to the crowd going apeshit. That's freaking awesome. You know what I mean? And it's a new experience each time, right? But after a while, you will get unenthused about some songs, no matter, like, these bands with these one-hit wonders that are still touring around, that you know that the rest of their songs never got an even shake. It was just like 1 or 2 songs made it super, super big. And even half the band's not original members anymore. It doesn't matter. The whole thing is that the end of the night is you got to play that bleeping song again. You know what I mean? One more time. They hate it. And it's like, here's our new album. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, we want to hear that other song. You know, and that happens to a lot of bands. You know, especially the more commercialized bands that, you know, the record company said, okay, well, they got a one-hit, they're going to be a one-hit wonder. We'll give them the standard 3-album deal. The first album is going to make us money. Everything after that's just for the fanatics, right? And you do get that. Whoa! Slip out much? That's why you don't drive like a maniac over here. That's pretty slick. So anyway, yeah, so it works out like that a lot of times, you know, and you're just like, okay, you know, what about the bands that, you know, they're not really so beholden to a record company, but they never get really super, super popular. Well, those bands, okay, they get a couple of songs that, you know, become staples, but they're not so, okay, well, you got to tour for 3 years on this one album type of thing, and that's all people are ever going to know from you. Right? And so it's like, okay, well, we toured for, that is ice. Wow. Where did that come from? That is slick at the worst possible spot. That is bad. That is so bad. It's at May 1st. That road should not be like that. Mind you, about a week or so ago, a guy my dad works with, his vehicle went sideways right here. The most dangerous part of the road, right? You can't slow down too much because it's all blind corners. And all the 18-wheeler guys, they have to go like stupid fast. But it's okay because I'm here. That's craziness. That's crazy. Someone's going to die there. You know what I mean? You know? Yeah, so anyway, I'm almost there now. And strangely enough, this, I don't know how much memory I'll have for the video back, but probably not very much. You know, I like to babble on these things. It also, you know, it's fun to share with you guys too. Yeah, so my first jam night in probably about 8 months. Go do the jam night tonight. I don't know what's going to happen next week unless money comes flowing in. So probably not too much. Maybe it'll be a couple of weeks after. But I might already start looking for a different venue. The problem is the next venue I want to play is going to cost me a lot more. But I think there's a higher odds of getting a gig at that other venue. So, again, there's a vine and vice and everything, right? So I'll have to see. Oh, this is where all the freezing rain is. Oh, okay, I get it now. Right where I got to be, right? Okay, well, that's good. That's good. I know where it is now. Nice. Okay. So, yeah. That means it's probably going to be a really crazy ride on the way home. School zone. Gotta slow down in the school zone. Mercy for doing 35 in the school zone. Woo. I'm excited, guys. Very excited. Yeah. And I don't know how many of you watch these videos because they're so long. I know most people don't have an attention span to do that. And I rant and rave about all kinds of stuff like that. But if you do get something out of them, that's kind of nice too. Because I think we're in a creativity deficit on the planet right now. I can't get to the outside of the road. Where the hell did the line go? I know where all the potholes are. Being Wakefield. Oh, ow. This is going to hurt. Hang on. No. Not that one. Mixed it. Tires. Pothole. An Avro Lancaster bomb this thing out or something? Oh my god. Wow. Damn. Jeez. Oh, that's a big one. Hang on. I got this. Crazy. I was gonna wear some shoes today. I think I made the right choice wearing my boots. I'm gonna look a little silly on stage with winter boots, but I don't care. My feet will be dry. That's craziness. Where did all this madness come from? Oh. It's like the bottles are so bad. It's like, oh, that's a big one. Trying to straddle all the bottles. You can't straddle the bottles without landing in the other bottles. So it's which bottle is going to break the suspension. One of my friends, she hit a bottle really bad about 2 weeks ago. Bent both her rims, damaged her tie rods, and that's a hard hit. Oh, I'm on the other side of the road. Oh, look at that. That's where the line is. Okay, that's good. I might make it there. It's only a few hundred feet. I made it this far. Don't fail me now. All right, guys. I got the GoPro. Another thing too is the GoPro Hero 7 will be getting used live for the first time tonight, and should be awesome. And yeah, almost there. Hopefully the parking lot's not too full. I always screw up the entrance, but anyway. So where's it? Oh no, it's next. Oh wow. Park in here? That's the problem when you come a little bit later, right? I see people I know already. I gotta park by that dumpster. Oh my god, look at that puddle. That's why nobody's parked over there. I'm gonna park. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna park so I can just drive out of here. That's what I'm gonna drive out. It's raining pretty good. Looks like it's gonna be a good night if there's this many people here. Come on now. In reverse. I wish I had a spotlight on the back. That'd be really cool. As long as I don't hear I'll stop when I hear the crunch. I always end up near the dumpster. But I can drive straight out now because I was able to. There wasn't so many cars that oh, wow. Good thing I didn't hit that. That would have hurt. That could have been really bad. All right, so everything off. Turn the heater off. And there we go. The vehicle off, and everything ready. Now go inside. 54 minutes, yeah, a little bit slow going. There we go.